I had to have a horse. That was my real ambition, was to have a horse. And so we went and bought a horse, Dondi. Bought it down in Frewsburg, Palomino. And he was quite a horse. It was the worst horse we could have probably bought for the novices that we were. But he taught us everything we ever knew about horse. Big, strong Palomino. And bought him and had no place to keep him. And I told Jim Midtuck, I bought this horse now. He said, I got no fencing, got no nothing. I just got 27 acres of land. Well, he said, somebody ought to be able to let you keep him in their pasture or something around here. I said, well, where are we going to go? So him and I came up with him one night. We drove around a couple places up on the Clymer Hill Road. And I talked to the old man Joe, and he said, no, he didn't want a horse running around with his cows in the pasture. He said, that don't mix very good. He said, sorry. And we got a long talk, and I said, gee, I'm going to be your new neighbor. You know, I just knew that you were good people, and it would be nice to, you know, to have the horse here. She says, yeah, she agreed with me, but, you know, that Joe was kind of the boss. She let him think that anyway. And about 2 nights later, she called me and said, Mr. Peterson, she says, we've decided you can keep your horse in our pasture. And I came up and literally rode that horse. Well, all of us were up there weekends. First one fell off, it was Greg. And we thought, we were telling him to go faster and faster and faster downhill, something you shouldn't do. And he bounced right over the horse's neck, and the horse just stopped and looked at him. He could have done some damage, but he didn't. And we kept him in Joe's pasture, and I'd come up here nights, even in the fall that year, and run out in the woods and find the horse, go walk up there with a bridle, and get him on a stump, throw the bridle on him, take the halter off, and ride him down the barn, and then put the saddle and on him, and then I'd go for a ride. It was before I got the horse. And Joe Edwards, he used to tell the people of Panama, he said, I got a city guy that he says, he does something that I can't believe. I went up in the woods, you know, getting this horse. He was really, so Joe and I, we got along. We were just the best friends. He just thought I tried, I guess, real hard, and I showed that I was a farm guy rather than just a city slicker.
He is an astute lover of horses.
And every night he dreams he's a cowboy riding the range.
Riding along. Oh, a cowboy needs a horse, needs a horse, needs a horse, and he's gotta have a rope, have a rope, have a rope. And he ought to have a song, have a song, have a song, if he wants to keep riding. Now a cowboy needs a hat, needs a hat, needs a hat, and a pair of fancy boots, fancy boots, fancy boots, and a set of shiny spurs, shiny spurs, shiny spurs, if he wants to keep riding. Oh, the fence is long and the sun is hot, and the good Lord knows that a cowboy's gotta keep riding, riding along. So he gets himself a horse and a rope and a song, and he finds himself a hat, fancy boots, shiny spurs, and there's nothing more he needs or can have or can get if he wants to keep riding, riding along. Spurs, shiny spurs, boots, fancy boots, sings a western song, rope, oh, and a horse, if he wants to keep riding, riding along.
Randy and I, we built the fireplace, and we loved, I could drive my car in here, and we could drive down that little creek that crosses the, we call Will Run, and we would, and carry it. And Randy was real, he was 10 years old, I guess, 12. Greg was probably 14. And Randy and I came up here and we built that fireplace.
Built that. Right there?
Yep, right there. And that cement, you know, underneath there, there's a block of cement. We mixed it and made it, and that thing has not even moved. It's there. I mean, the base of that, underneath that fire thing there is it's a solid concrete slab, and we made that. And we mix it up here, and your dad and I, like this, 12 years old, we carried them blocks in here. We couldn't get any further than that Willow Run Creek, because there was no road up here. We carried the stuff. First picnic we had up here was with hot dogs, and we stopped down at Schellers, and Becky went in, or no, Becky had picked someone down our basement, that's in Florida, and picked out hot dogs for us. When we got up here, they were these Smoky Franks for pancakes. And so then we had to go down to Schellers, and that's how we met the Schellers, and Schellers was the guy. And he and Becky just hit it off. He always called Becky Tex, because she had her cowboy hat on and everything. And we had a good rapport with both Schellers, but especially Romaine. And of course, he's long dead now. And then our experience with the Eddy family at the Rocks, fantastic. I think Randy and Becky again rode horseback over there and just charmed the old man. And there wasn't many people in Panama that really dug him. He was different, and he didn't care. But he liked our kids, and he had all of you. And Greg was over there. Greg worked for him at one time, and they babysat for us, him and his daughter. And so we had a great time with them. That was a real loss when old Glenn Eddy died. Brad and I went to the funeral, and it was a sad deal. And Helen lived a few years later and died. So there's no connection there anymore with the Panama Rocks.